welcome to Sparkle and Chill. Today we're going to be working on I'm Not Fat, I'm Fluffy by Spangler, I believe. Yes, Randall Spangler. I have to keep the box here because for some reason I can't remember the name, which is crazy. I remember it and then I think I'm going to say the wrong name. So anyways, we've gotten pretty far on it over the last few days. I've been spending all my, time that I have when I'm not working on stuff the other stuff that I have to be doing, working on this. So I thought I would share. We are after this, we're finishing up. Let me put it down where you guys can see. So last night or yesterday I did this part, and then over to here I did this. Like the third session of the day, I kind of decided, I guess I could work on this. What happened was I had heartburn, and I'm gonna move this camera just a little bit. I had heartburn and I couldn't go to bed, so I thought, well, since I can't go to bed, I might as well get some work done. So I started working on it. So now I'm on this little part here. I can't wait. I'm almost to the face. This has been a really fun painting. I started on January 5th, and I haven't kept track of hours. I think I should do that as I get going. I should really start working on doing that. Let me see here. What color are we starting with? Let's do the... Now, because this is upside down, I have all of my bottles upside down so that I can still see them at a glance and know what's what. It's interesting as you get further along on a painting, you kind of instinctively know where the different ones are that you're dealing with. This here is my trash deal. I showed it the other day. I got several of the gray ones in squares and a white one in squares. For some reason they got, but these actually, most of these aren't trash drills. And I gotta say, this kit has had really hardly any trash at all. The ones that are in here are usually hitchhikers that were the wrong color in the wrong dish. So honestly, there wasn't a lot of trash. I'm not quite done yet, but these have been pretty clean drills. There's been a couple drills, a couple pieces where like you had a small chunk of plastic that wasn't really a drill, but really not a lot of trash here. I'm really impressed. So yeah, it's kind of amazing. I just started working with this. And so I always use the twist and pick pin, but the other night I wanted to do more drills at a time because there's a lot of line, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of places where there's like straight lines of colors, line blocking, versus, but there's a lot of confetti in this, but there is a lot of line blocking. So I started using this and I love it when it anywhere from, up to 6 on here has been really good. Let me see. And you guys still see what I'm doing if I put it like so. Can you? Just a second. Let me make sure what I'm working on you guys can even see. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be out of your range if it's there. What about that? I think that will do it. Okay. I still haven't figured out how to use my overhead one. I will get it figured out, but for now I'm trying to just... So this one, I'm going to have to use this to begin with. Now I've got this in such a precarious way. I'll be using this. I kind of been going back and forth between these two pens, just because one has a 4-placer and one has a 6-placer. And I'm trying to, Now, I heard somebody the other day say that they didn't like using multi-placing because it took more time to do the, you know, kind of do the little scooching on them if they get misplaced a little bit. And I have to say, I don't find that to be true, because you're putting down more drills, and yeah, you might take a couple seconds to like smush them over, but it's a lot less than going back and forth 10 times. So I really do enjoy the multi-placers when I can use them, but I don't mind doing them one by one. When I first started, I didn't ever try multi-placing, and then one day I was like, I'm gonna try this, and this is with rounds. I'm trying to, you know, my next painting is going to be a square, and I'm kind of nervous about it. The next big painting I have, oh, I was going to show you. So I have this one all kitted up. This is the Forever Young year-long diamond paintings, and I haven't started this one yet. And here is the legend. So last night I went to do it, and I thought, or I was going to start working on it, and I thought I had the January, but I in fact had the legend for January, and I had the painting for December. And I got to, I laid down a few drills, which is fine. They're all the same color, so the legend is going to follow the same color, so that's not an issue. That I was working on the wrong one, and I didn't get much laid down before I got a little confused, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to look at this in the morning and see what I'm doing wrong. And then I realized this morning when I got it out that it was indeed the wrong painting, because the W's, it's got a lot of drills, but I didn't have that, and I was like, well, where's the W? It wasn't anywhere in what I had pulled out for that part of the kit. And so I finally figured it out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, sometimes I surprise myself with how silly I can be. I just had the wrong one. So I'm going to start working on that one tonight, because it's already the 22nd, I think. 20th, 21st or 22nd today. I can't remember which. But anyways, I got to get that done before the end of January. At least that's my plan. My plan is to get those little ones done each month, and I've just been so engrossed in this one, I haven't worked on anything else. I did work on a partial. What did I do with that partial? I'm not even sure where I put it. I'll have to find it. I did the partial, a cat partial that was really fun. It was, I'll find it and show it to you guys, but probably not today. Probably not in this video. I'll have it ready for the next video that I do, so I can show you guys. And that was really fun. It was just a quick, probably hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of putting down those drills. And it had a lot of different fun types of drills. I really liked it. Some people don't like partials, you know, the special drill kits. I like them because they're a, you know, just something different to do, and you can get it done really fast, you know, and you have a completion. And when you're working on a big kit like this, where there's, you know, you're spending hours and hours on it, it's fun to get something done. That's the whole idea of doing the calendar and doing the monthly mini gems, is that you're gonna have the ability to get some completions done, because sometimes these monthly things aren't going to get done in a month, especially once I start working again. Once I start working again, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get these bigger ones done in just evening hours and weekends, you know. It's a good thing I have no social life. She says in jest. But I mean, if I was busy a lot, it would be really difficult to get them done. Okay, and then that one has I really like these where I can get a whole line done at once. Isn't that amazing? I figured these out. I was like, this is the best thing. But so that's kind of where I've been. But I do love this pin. I got this pin a while back on Amazon for $9.99, and it came with a bunch of attachments. And I had already gotten one with this, that was the same color from, I'm trying to remember how I got that one. I think I got it in a kit, but I think it came in a kit, but it's not, turns out it's not exactly like this one. This one needs to be scrunched. See, this is much faster than scooching, than going back and forth 6 times, right? I mean, but I just love it because it, okay. And it seems to line up a little bit better, although I misaligned that one. So I did my 511th application today. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it feels like that. And the thing is, people haven't gotten back to me. It's so weird. I've not had a time. I mean, usually you apply for jobs and yeah, you're not going to hear from everybody, but it's like, what is going on, you know? So I don't know. And I talked to one guy. I actually had a phone interview last week, and the guy said he was going to get back to me, and I haven't heard boo. So I'm like, you know, I worked in the recruiting field for years. Have a backbone. Say you're not interested. Say this might not be a good fit, you know. But don't lead people on to believe that something's going to happen that's not. I never did that with people. I was always pretty honest and gave good feedback to people when I realized that they weren't going to be a good fit, because, you know, it's hard to, you don't want somebody waiting around for your job or offer if you're not going to offer them that job. I mean, because then they may pass up a good job because they're hopeful for a job that they have no chance of getting. So I never did that. I would tell people straight up, you know, if the client was saying they weren't interested, or I just let people know, because I don't want to be led on. So, yeah. So we'll see. But I talked to it wasn't quite what I wanted anyways, that particular job, just because it was staffing versus recruiting, which is 2 different animals. Sounds the same to people, but it's not. It's very different. And I don't have the experience in staffing that I do in recruiting. And everything that I've heard on staffing is, it's a big headache. It's a big headache. So, I don't know. It might be a good thing. I'm willing to give it a try, but I also don't want to sit around waiting for a job offer when they don't follow through on their end. That's the one thing I learned way back in my days as a nanny, is that when you're interviewing for a job, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you, because yeah, you need the job, but you also need to be able to align with that job. in a good way. When I was a nanny, it was a big thing, because if you're going to be taking care of somebody's kids, you've got to be on the same page about an awful lot. Your discipline techniques, everything needs to line up with the family, or you need to be able to line up with the family even if you don't agree with things. But that's dangerous. If you don't agree with their thought process on stuff, it's not going to work. It's just going to have you're going to have a bad time. I know, I tried a couple different times. And the thing is that I thought about going back to working as a nanny. The problem is that the agencies to get into those companies don't exist the way they used to. And that's problematic, because I don't want to go through something like care.com. I want somebody else to be vetting these families for me, as well as vetting me for the families. The whole thing has changed since I was in it. Back in the day when I was working as a nanny, you had agencies that you went to, you interviewed with. They screened you, they screened them. You knew what you were walking into for the most part. I mean, you still had to interview and kind of know what you were doing, but they were already pre-vetted. You already had an idea of what they were looking for. You kind of could get a little bit of an inside scoop about things. You know, if you were in good with an agency, you could pretty much choose what you wanted. You know, you could go in, look at what they had in, you know, as far as clients that they were working with, and see, you know, oh yeah, I think I could align with that, or no, don't send me there, that kind of thing. Or you had the ability to do temp work, where you worked for a couple days with different families, you know. You got to be the person who came in and saved the day when mom got sick or dad got sick, and, you know, or the kids got sick and there was no school, that kind of thing. So it was very different. And now, you know, this everything online where you don't know anybody and they don't have anybody giving them, you know, information about you, to know your history and all the work you've done and how other families liked you. All of that kind of stuff is now gone. It just makes it very difficult. And I'm not sure that I really want to go back to that anyways, just because the hours are long, the pay isn't great. Although the pay has gotten a lot better than it used to be, if you work with the right families. But what I have found has been, you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating to try to figure out. So that's kind of what I've been dealing with, is trying to figure out the job market. What kind of job do you go for? I did a thing the other night with ChatGPT, and I'm not finished with it, but trying to narrow down what to do. And it was kind of interesting. I don't know if I'm not a proponent of having ChatGPT do everything for you, or, you know, think for you. You've still got to have your brain intact. But it started, I was trying to pinpoint, what do I want to do based on, you know, what I've done before. And uploaded my resume of what I've done before. And it started asking me a series of questions to help me decipher, what do I want to do now? And it was very interesting, because it was narrowing it down based on what do I want to do. And then it said, let's narrow down by answer these questions just yes or no on what you prefer to do. And I thought, okay, this could be interesting. So I did that, and it got me down to a specific job title to start doing. And then it started pulling different companies in that industry in the exact pay frame that I'm looking for. I was like, whoa. Just from asking me, you know, several questions. and seeing my resume, which then it also helped me update, it's now giving me specific criteria to look for in a job based on what I've done before, my success rate, and a way to, you know, just be applying for those jobs that fit the criteria that we're looking for. So I was kind of blown away because I haven't done this stuff a lot. But it really did kind of narrow down, and it gave me different titles or different titles that jobs that I've done in the past are using, so that I could actually find the jobs that have the skill set that I have. Because sometimes a job could be called one thing in one company and something completely different in another. And that makes it very difficult to narrow things down if you think, oh, well, I don't have any experience in that. And it was funny because one of the things that it brought up was to look for AR positions within companies. And I'm like, well, I've never done AR, but I've done commercial collections. They're like, it's basically using a lot of same skill sets. Negotiation, talking to people, getting people to pay what needs. And I'm like, oh. Now, I was on the sales for most of my time in that, but I was working as a collector for a period of time there, and I did very well. If they would have had more accounts, I would have done even better, but I was getting just the low balance accounts, and I was doing very well. So I thought, well, that's really interesting. So it kind of opened my eyes. So if you're looking for jobs, trying to figure out, okay, what can I do based on what I've done before? Because I don't necessarily want to do exactly what I did before. You know what I mean? So that's what I've been working on, and it's kind of crazy. Okay. Okay. Next color. I gotta say, I like this new multi-placer. It's not new, it's just I haven't been using it because I've just been using the twist and pick pen, and last night I was like, I'm gonna start using this again and see how I like it, and I'm loving it because it's making it go really fast. Not that I want to go fast, because I want to enjoy the process, but I also do want to get this done by the end of the month, because Peggy Collins month. So I've got I've got so many Peggy Collins kits, small and large. And so I'm wanting to work on a square and a round for my Peggy Collins month. And I don't know if that's biting off more than I can chew or not, but it's kind of what I want to do. So so the one that my big one is the square, which I wish it was the round, but I need to, it's a gift for a friend, so I really would like to get it done. But it's kind of crazy because it's really big for a month long, so I may end up working on it for a couple months. But that's okay, because I've also got a couple round kits that I really want to do as well, that are smaller Peggy Collins. I've got one that is Poppy Fields, I think is what it's called. It was an Amazon kit. I haven't seen it on the DAC site, but it is an Amazon kit, or a DAC kit. And then the other one, the new rose one, the magical red rose. But that's also a square, so I don't want to do two squares. Oops. I don't want to do two squares. because I need that change from the squares, because squares can get a little overwhelming at times, you know, when you get to the point where you're just frustrated trying to be so accurate with everything, because rounds are very forgiving, you know. With a round, rounds are just a bit easier that way. So I started working on those little Forever Young gems last night, and then of course it was the wrong one, but I was like, oh no, I forgot how these can be, because I've got this big huge one. I'm like, no, but it's gonna be good. I think it's going to be good. I'm really excited. And we did get a new person on the channel, or on my Facebook page today. So my Facebook page is Sparkle and Chill Diamond Painting. I keep forgetting that part. It's diamond painting is on that. So if you're searching for it on Facebook, search Sparkle and Chill Diamond Painting, and that will lead you right to us. And go ahead and go in and request to join the group. It is a private group, and yeah, I think there's a couple questions that I put on there. It's basic common courtesy. That's all we're looking for there. We don't want people who want to come in and debate politics or talk any of that kind of stuff. We really just on that page want to stick to diamond painting. That is something that we should all be able to agree on, you know, and there shouldn't be any kind of strife. It's diamond painting, people. And so go ahead and head over there to find that when you're done with this video, if you're interested. Now, it hasn't been a very active group. I'll let you know, it's a brand new group. So here's a chance to get into a group on the ground floor. It hasn't really had much post by anyone but me. I've been posting the, you know, the updates on this painting and the one I was doing during December. But honestly, I started the page and then it didn't really go anywhere, and I didn't really do anything with it for a little while. But I'm wanting to do this Peggy Collins month, and it might end up being a couple months of Peggy Collins, which she's got enough diamond paintings out there. I think we could do it. And I think it's probably going to be a little longer than a month, because I've got a couple that I want to do, and I know other people have may have more than one that they want to work on as well. But you don't have to have, you know, a ton of them. Just, I mean, in Amazon has, I believe they still have the Magical Red Rose, which it doesn't say Peggy Collins on it on their website. That's where people get a little frustrated with the postings on Amazon. They don't say who the artist is, so you kind of have to guess. When you see a painting, you either know who the artist is or you don't. When I started buying DAC kits, I never bought them on the company website, because I just got the little ones, and they don't have as many of the little ones on their site. Most of those are through Amazon. And so I was buying kits and not even knowing who the artists were, just based on the picture that it was. And I ordered like a few different artists I have purchased from several times through there. So I kind of got a list of favorite artists without even realizing it, just because their work is what kept coming up and what I really like to work on. So give that a shot, because I believe that kit is only somewhere between $20 and $25. And I want to say it's like 22. It might even just be 20. But go look at that. And there's other ones too that she has. I don't know if there's any more that are on there right now, but there might be. The other one I have, the other small one I got from there was stained glass flowers, the smaller version. It's a small version of the really large one. They also have, I don't know if they have it still right now on Amazon, but they had that little baby bear, the little black bear up a tree. That's a portion of one of the larger kits that's on DAC, and I believe it's only like $15. So that could be a really good way for you to get an inexpensive kit. I wanted to order that and I didn't get around to it. And then I found other things, and I don't have a ton of money right now, so I'm not buying anything. I did just get my 500 points for my birthday on DAC, and so I hit my amount of points to get another $100 in product from them. So I'm waiting to see. I don't necessarily, I have to pay shipping. And so I'm kind of, oh, I didn't see those ones. So I'm kind of waiting to see what I decide I want to order. For some reason, this isn't releasing. I love this thing. See how fast it makes me? Like I said, not that I'm trying to speed it up, but I kind of do want to get this done so that I can get the other one done as well. And then I hit my goal for this month was to get at least the monthly mini gym, my calendar, which I did get the calendar done, and this one, and maybe another one. I was thinking of doing a budget kit too, but I haven't gotten that far. So that's okay. That is a-okay. I do love this. This is the perfect setting. This is perfect spacing for this kit. So, anywho, well, I'm about out of time, so I wanted to thank you for visiting. And you want to do the Peggy Collins month in February, put a comment down below if you'd like to join that, and then go find Sparkle and Chill Diamond Painting on Facebook and join the group. We'll be happy to have you. Thanks, and have a great day. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell if you want to get notified when new videos are coming out. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye now.